Well, we're back. Episode 7 of the DirectWorks Let's Be Direct podcast. And once again, we are joined by a couple of esteemed colleagues here in my buddy here, Mike from Goose Digital, Mike Turksani.
Glad to be here.
And Lane, our much valued product and business development director.
Thanks, Dan.
So today, I'm not sure if we want to reveal this right now because of the podcast timing and release, but today's the end of the year, and you know, a lot of organizations go through, and humans, I suppose, go through this reassessment of what are we doing next year differently, and what's on the, you know, not just to look back, but to look forward, and what are we going to be doing that's innovative. And last year, DirectWorks experienced a huge amount of growth. And it was our best year ever, our biggest growth jump ever. Everything just seemed to click for us and for our customers, thankfully. So we recognize that some cracks are starting to show, and some people are getting a little worn out, and myself included. And Lane, I know you're in that as well. And so we really felt that we needed to take a fresh look at our processes. So all of this is part of this innovation thing. So we're going to talk a little bit about our processes and what we're going to be doing there. We've installed some equipment that's part of our innovation theme. We've started a whole new security compliance called SOC 2 Type 2 process, which is it's kind of a major undertaking for data security. And then we want to look forward also to see the buzzword AI or whatever it is. For us, it's happened so fast. I think for everybody, it's really happened fast. Is AI 6 months ago? We were just saying off camera here a few minutes ago that AI 6 months ago everybody's going, oh, you know, we're even at a marketing conference. It never even came up. Now it seems to be everywhere, and it seems to be. And Mike's going to talk a little bit about that. It seems to be something that we can all use, right? Eventually in this marketing, and how would we apply that? So that's really, you know, we have a lot of different platforms in DirectWorks, and we're looking for ways to make them speak to each other better. We're looking for ways for them to provide feedback to us that we can use to build our efficiencies and to grow and to manage some of the challenges that we're really finding out on the shop floor, or even anywhere where systems are being pushed and people are being pushed. And so we brought in a process consultant who's a lean black belt, has probably, I guess he's got about almost 15 years of experience, a younger guy. So this is something that in our industry, we are manufacturers, and we have to really consider ourselves to be manufacturers to get the most out of any kind of lean reorganization that we do.
Sure.
And if we think of ourselves as manufacturers and we think of ourselves as process-based, that in itself puts us in the mindset that, okay, if we're process-based, processes can always get better. We can always do better things with them. But we're so close to it. Like there's the old analogy of the boiled frog, right? I mean, we often find ourselves doing things that we do them because we've always done them, or we do them because we're so busy in the vortex, we never think that, hey, maybe we should stop and do things better. And, you know, and I might harp on a whole bunch of stuff with the staff. Well, we got to get better at this. We got to get better at that, get better at this. Yeah, Dan, you've been saying that for 5 years. Like, give us some tools, give us some resources, whatever, right?
Way to think about it.
Yeah, and then I guess, but bringing in somebody from the outside, you know, you've got to make these investments in your business, right? You've got to stand back and have somebody else take a look at it and find those opportunities, right? And so for us, that's a pretty big deal, you know. Like,
oh yeah,
you're entrusting somebody to kind of, you know, look under your hood a little bit and point out some things that we could be doing better. So from an innovation perspective, I think that's where it really all begins with us in 2024.
Yep.
Is going to be really looking at those things.
And I think that, like, it's so interesting, like, innovation from you know, we were talking off camera, like, when I look at the type of business that I think from the outside in, people can kind of draw their own conclusions around, right?
Exactly.
Like, oh, you know, direct mail house, printing press, like, probably not very innovative, probably not a lot of digital transformation going on over there. And
so untrue.
It's so untrue. And I think it's even worth like maybe describing a little bit when we think of like people learning about how I, like, over the years, right, learned about you guys. And probably one of the reasons why, you know, we get along so well together is because there's a whole lot more going on here than just, you know, printing an envelope and sending it into the postage, right? And I think
Right.
fundamentally, this is not a printing company. Like, this is a data company. This is
Yeah.
like a data and innovation. So why don't we just maybe even like, because I think, obviously the consultant and the business process 100% is like where we start. But why don't we even just give a little bit of a backstory of like, what are we dealing with on a day-to-day basis here? Because I think, over the course of the last 15 minutes, like Lane said the word data and data feeds and, about 25 times. So why don't we talk a little bit about that to frame this up even?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. We are a data company. When I think of the structure of our organization and kind of where it's all going, like with production versus the front end of our business, production is sort of a thought that comes a lot further down the process when we're building out these campaigns and producing these campaigns. Data is really at the forefront of everything.
Everything. Yeah.
And not only that, like we are having to work with not only our own systems and our own platforms, we are getting data from clients. So you work with hundreds of clients, and all of their data systems are different.
Sure.
The formats of their data are different. So we need to be able to absorb that data into our environment and then standardize it to work with our systems, and being able to not only standardize it, but then mine that data. So, from a personalization standpoint, to hit campaign objectives and to make it relevant and personalized and one-to-one. So, everyone here at DirectWorks, I know, is very data focused, and
process focused.
And process focused
very
as
much,
well.
We have, if you take a look at our weekly production meetings or our weekly management meetings, almost everything on the board there is about automation and improvement of processes.
Right.
And that's both because of the growth, but it's also just the culture here. Like, how can we make it easier for our customers to work with us?
Yeah.
Right. How can we automate that interface? Right. Not necessarily the relationship, because we're all obviously we want to make sure that we are all fitting together and working together and kind of pulling on the same end of the rope. But just how do we make it so that once something's going, it's going and smooth and
it's sometimes it's hard to articulate because or for someone to really get the sense of what we're talking about here, because you think, well, yeah, I'm working with this mail house over here, and though there's some person on the other end of the phone that's making sure that I fill out a file format the right way, and it's like, no, you're not really grasping it, that there's data consulting here, there's solution design, there's automation, thought process, system feeds, triggers, rules. Like, it really is when you think about partnering, and I do think of the next generation marketing person that knows all that from the digital lens. And we were talking about that on one of the other podcasts of just, you can think of this environment as really, it's physical on the way out, but it's digital really first from the conversations and the data. So I think that was really good to hammer that home, because it's so different from you might currently work with somebody that's just not on that page.
Right. I mean, the irony is that our product is almost exclusively paper based. I mean, we do a lot of e-billing and email and that kind of thing, but that is our product, but our strength is that we're digital.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so that was a good frame up. I think that was a really good frame up. So in terms of going back to the manufacturing consultant.
Right. So I mean, we're looking at things right from the very moment that we begin to receive information, not data, but information from our customers. How do we take that information and translate that into work on our shop floor with the least amount of waste and as few steps as possible at the highest quality?
Amazing.
And so that's really, I mean, it's classic manufacturing inputs and as little waste as possible to the output. Value-added only activities. We're trying to reduce non-value-added activities. And the other thing we identified was that, and again, it's just one of those things where, every business, I think it happens, is you realize that different departments of your business, of your organization, are all looking at different metrics and different dashboards and different, when really what we should all be doing, and this is one of the things that the consultant has pointed out for us, and I would encourage any organization to bring in some fresh eyes from the outside to look at your processes. But his big thing is that you guys need one place to look at your information. because the amount of time that's being wasted communicating back and forth from these two systems, and this person looks at this and this person looks at another aspect of it, and there's no cohesion. And so then you end up having to have all these meetings to bring it all together. Well, what if we had a really nice, clean, big dashboard that
and
that
everybody
showed us,
knew what it meant,
and everybody knew what it
those
meant,
things
and
mean, right?
everybody looked at it together at the same time, and made sure that there was clarity around it, and you can just snap through that meeting and we're good, we're gone.
Great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So one of the things that kind of in the last year through that growth, kind of talking about that, is we found that with this whole digital world that we're in now, the expectation from marketing organizations or marketers is quick turn, right? So, and I know we touched a lot about that in our podcasts about the programmatic marketing and programmatic direct mail, but even just getting down into the more finer points, we were in a situation a number of times in the last couple of years where we needed to produce something to respond to a market condition for a major customer that needed to go out now, but it had to meet their brand expectations. It had to look good, and to get the maximum benefit of that of that marketing effort, it required certain technologies be able to turn and go. And that's really what it got us into the thinking about, where are we with respect to being able to respond to our customers' needs, and where is the biggest bottleneck right now? And this is even before the consultant came on. We were just feeling the pain of getting something as what seemingly mundane as getting envelopes and having them printed. So that's when we knew we had to install something to take care of this wrinkle that we kept on running into, this gap between let's go and we can go, right? So the customer is saying, yeah, here's my artwork, or us designing some artwork for them. Here's the campaign, here's the data. Okay, let's go physical with it. Let's get it going. And then, you hear back, oh geez, that's going to be 3 weeks to get those damn envelopes. We're going, oh no, like you lose the opportunity. So Lane and I had seen some technology at a print show a number of years ago in its earlier generation, using what's called memjet technology, which is an inkjet, high quality, high speed inkjet technology. It's now in its 4th generation, and we basically bit the bullet in the spring this year, and we installed. We ordered and then waited a little while because a lot of people saw the value in these things. We ordered what's called a Firejet, which is a high speed, high quality inkjet envelope and other substrate press. And so we'll inject some video, I guess, on that at some point in this video, in this podcast. But to say that has been transformational would be an understatement. I mean, from our perspective, we were able to get things printed and ready and out the door up to 3 weeks quicker than our competition and than we've ever been able to before. So back in the day, which was 6 months ago, you would wait 3 weeks to get a full bleed, like an envelope with the print all right to the edges and right around the window, and beautiful bright CMYK colors. It would be 3 weeks to get that. So we did two things. We went out and we rented another 4,000 square feet of space. We filled it with racks. We went to the envelope manufacturers, bought millions of envelopes of various sizes, of our most common sizes, put them in the racks. We went and got that machine in, a major investment in innovation from our perspective. We got trained up on it, and we've got it running now at about 17 to 18,000 envelopes an hour, full bleed, full dynamic variable imaging, quick turn. So what used to take 3 weeks, we can have tomorrow. That's the sort of thing that's
massive. And
it's
and
massive,
it's even like from a Canadian perspective, there's
there's only a couple of them out
seeing
there.
a lot of this, right?
And we went out for the Cadillac. I mean, there are different versions of it with various attachments.
Sure.
So we went out with one that has the best feeder and the best kind of conveying system, et cetera, and an upgraded RIP station, et cetera, et cetera. So it's been fantastic. In fact, we're kind of a victim of our own success in that, so it's caught on so much with our customers, and our project managers love it.
Sure.
That we've literally got one less person on the floor running all the other machines because we got to have get them onto this thing. So
wow.
We're doing some hiring if anybody's looking. And I think the thing about doing those major investments, it's a difficult sell to a lot of management groups to go out and take the kind of risks that we took in buying that. I mean, I'm the president of the company. I get to say yes, yay or nay. But I know that for a lot of organizations, that's not so easy to go out and spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on a piece of equipment. You're not really sure.
Yeah.
You can do all the math and everything, but there's a leap of faith in there. But my leap of faith wasn't so much of a leap of faith. It was my belief that if I put this out on the floor, knowing the team that we have at DirectWorks and how motivated they are, not only from they want to see the growth, but also they want to make their lives better. I knew that this thing was going to take off. I hoped it would take off, and it has. So.
And I think when you look at, I know we're going to get into a couple other topics here, but
Yeah.
when you look at I think the big strategic partnerships that you ultimately want to cultivate these relationships and build these big strategic partnerships. And I think when that, to me, it's just like in our business, really what ends up making a huge impact on that type of relationship. Your partners, your customer partners are seeing this investment that's being made. Okay, there's an example of that you've rhymed a few here, technology investments, all this stuff. So then they know that from a vendor relationship is actually quite a good bet, a good thing to bet on DirectWorks because they can see the innovation. And sometimes I think that's not always talked about because you might be starting off on a small job or a few small things, small campaigns, and you're not really at that bigger strategic level. But then all of a sudden you do get one that comes along. It's like, hey, you know what? We're looking for that type of partner. And that makes us feel really good. This isn't just some over here where we can get a price and we're doing X amount a year and just give us the best price. It's like, well, we also want to know what's going on under the hood. Like, how far out in the future are you guys thinking? What are these investments in data, compliance, all this kind of stuff that you're making, right?
Yeah. No, absolutely. Exactly. And you want to work with the vendor that has got legs. It's going to go the distance. We can continue to make those investments because we've made those investments, right? It's certainly a positive vortex to be in. Cool. But I'm glad you brought up that as well, because we talk a lot about data at DirectWorks. We are data driven. We are at the end of the day, we're putting out mail or email or bills or mailers from a promotional perspective. And in order to make those effective, they're personalized. Well, if you've got personalized, you've got PII, personally identified information. Yep. Now we've always taken data security extremely seriously at DirectWorks. We've kind of gone through that whole process of learning what it means and what the vulnerabilities are and how do we work through that. And we made the decision later this summer that we're going to take it to the next level. I think it's really important that we continue to drive forward. Just again, because we're innovating, we are going to get our SOC 2 Type 2 compliance certification. And that is, I guess we're about 2 months into it. We've probably got about another 4 or 5 months before that's really completely in place and we can get our audit. But we're well underway with that. We've hired a couple consultants for that, and we're making the changes to our systems. But SOC 2 Type 2 is basically a degree of security compliance that's highly prescriptive. It's highly sought after for when customers are looking for vendors that take data security seriously. So we do work for financial institutions, be that insurance companies, banks, credit unions, organizations even provincial organizations where we're actually printing checks, et cetera, personalized, like we're actually putting the dollar amounts in the checks and putting a virtual signature on them. So that's the kind of information that you've got to be very careful how you protect that, and you can wing it. We do a pretty good job actually with where we are, but looking at this SOC 2 compliance, I can see it takes it to another level, and that's actually although it's a lot of work, it's something that will set us apart. I think ultimately Lane's going to love it because he's kind of been so busy in his world on the marketing side, but this is something that we're going to be able to say, hey, let's start splashing that out there because not everybody is SOC 2 compliant in our industry. I can guarantee you that, right?
For sure, that's the case. Yeah.
I mean, we do it for the right reasons, but the positive side effect is that it is a marketing tool as well, right?
Yeah, and and I think you're right, in a sales tool, because I'm going to imagine customers ask you for it, right? They probably are asking already.
Well, they're asking for assessments, and many times, you're getting those. Please list your data security compliance, right? And we're like, okay, well, we'll take an assessment and we do fine. We've never been turned down by anybody, government, anybody.
Yeah.
But just to be able to go, almost rubber stamp it now, like, yeah, oh, they're
Yeah.
SOC 2.
Yeah.
Okay, show us your certificate. Here it is. And yeah, okay, good.
Yeah, it takes it from potentially a 25-page document of filling out individual
Yeah.
Yeah, questions and
qualifications,
answers.
Yeah.
questionnaires
Yeah.
to okay, you're SOC 2 compliant. We
Cool.
already know you conform to all of these things.
Yeah, yeah. In some cases, it's we're going to be more compliant than our customers are. Well, I guess in most cases, really, other than maybe the banks and some of
Yeah.
the bigger.
Yeah, for sure. I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah. So that's another kind of innovative thing that we're looking to come to life in 2024. Between the workflow automation, process improvements, lean manufacturing kind of approach, refresh on all that, SOC 2,
Yeah.
putting in some equipment that positions us, both operationally and from a marketing position, positions us in a much better place. And probably, I guess the other thing that, and again, off camera, we were kind of kicking it around, like AI, what is that, right? How does that, and that's one of the reasons I'm really glad you're here today, Mike, is because I know that you've been playing around with the whole AI in the marketing universe. And we want to learn as much as we can, but sometimes how it is. You're in this. You're so busy with all the growth, and there's all these other things floating around out there. I should really grab onto AI and figure out how does that work for DirectWorks and DirectWorks customers.
Sure.
How can we do that? How can we? Where does that play with? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 developers out there. Is there something that are DirectWorks developers? What are we? And I even pose those guys. I say, where does AI fit in this? And they're, and I'm not sure that they're fully even capable to take that time to learn about it.
Yeah.
So and it's very challenging.
Yeah.
And a little bit scary. At
Like
the
we
same
talked
time.
about at the off camera there, we were the marketing conference that we were both at back
Yeah.
in June. There was no, about 6 months ago, there was no talk about AI yet because it hadn't hit the scene. It hadn't yet gone on the scene. And
Right.
And I think that's so interesting because like we were talking about customer journeys and other stuff that, is super important to marketing and all this kind of things. But, obviously the big one now being this is what's sort of on everyone's mind and how to leverage it, I think, in your day-to-day world and where can you ultimately add more value to your customers, right?
Right.
Or, if in
Right.
case you're an internal marketer, add more value to your business, not just for marketing, but obviously across the board. And I think that's kind of, a great point that you made around just like, there's been a lot of noise, there's obviously been iteration after iteration after iteration already in a lot of these tool sets that have come out this year. And it's kind of hard to actually say, hey, we've got the answer and hey, we're ready to start using it. I think probably more importantly, what you guys are doing now is saying we probably need to have an AI theme, some sort of
Yeah.
AI, like we were thinking about it, like a think tank or something internally.
Right.
We're not going to have the answer today, but if we have a process by which we can start to explore these tools, start to table them, start to understand, well, would they make a difference? Would they not make a difference? What are the risks if we start to leverage them, et cetera? I think it's just a good conversation that can be brought
Right.
forward. And then you land on ones where actually that one's in a low risk, high value add. We should actually be using that now going forward, for example, right?
Right. Right.
Maybe it opens up, not unlike the Firejet, where like this thing is now a major physical investment that reduces or increases your efficiency and effectiveness. That's kind of what we're seeing on the AI side for some of the tooling that we're using.
What kind of things are you doing then at this point?
Well, we're doing everything from, video kind of editing stuff
Really?
where it would take a long time to edit videos down. And we're doing content strategy work, where we're able to sort of research and develop based on having customized GPTs and stuff for clients where it's got more intelligence around our customers before we actually use it. Some generative AI, obviously, as well. Image tooling, SEO tooling. So we're starting to explore all these things kind of at a resource level where how would it help the person do their job faster? Like in some cases, even harsh on this podcast, like there's things that we're doing now that can take 15 minutes to cut out 12 clips where it would take hours in the past. Now,
Right.
it's not perfect. And I think we've seen scenarios where you might get 12 and you throw 5 of them out because it didn't get it 100% right. But it's really interesting, and I think for us, we're going to have like a Q1 kind of challenge where we sort of go through and try to iterate on some tools and get everyone thinking, like you said, thinking about that in their day-to-day job, where it might apply and can it actually add value? Like where is it 80%, 90%? Where is it actually 40% and it's not quite there yet? Don't go there. But yeah, I think that's great, and it's almost, I could foresee a world almost where, how you brought in the consultant for process.
Yes, it's going to be the AI
I could see
consultant.
a world where we start, okay, I've done enough AI stuff. Now I can sit with you,
Right.
learn your business, and I have got enough tools in my AI toolbox to say,
Right.
you might want to look at this one or this one. Lane, you'd talked about maybe a use case that you thought could work for AI.
Yeah, and I think like even on the production side, like Dan mentioned earlier, like not only are we a data company, but again we're manufacturing, right? We're producing a physical piece at the end, and sometimes walking through the back production, my own personal sort of ick is that I'm seeing equipment not running, right? And it's not that the operators aren't doing their job and not trying to run it, but they're waiting for something. Maybe there's a physical interaction that someone needs to actually send something down to a printer, or a human actually has to push that downstairs in the production area. So how can we use AI to take some of our workflow automation that we have with programmatic to look at scheduling on equipment and push different deliverables down to our production department to make that run more efficiently and have less gaps in idle machine time and that sort of thing. So I think there's lots of opportunity, again, not only on the data side, but then utilizing the data we have to push the physical production side of things too, to be more efficient.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be crazy what's going to come out of it. It already is kind of wild. It's hard to almost understand that intelligence could be there to be useful in any way, but it's there and it's coming at us like a train, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I mean, anywhere. I mean, it would be nice to be able to just know through a consultant that these are some great areas where we can use AI, but here are some areas just avoid. And
yeah, and I think what
we've done it this way.
It kind of boils down to our businesses are different, but they're similar in the sense that, like, we're all servicing customers, but particularly around a finite number of things, right? In our world, it might be more human hours, for example, than 80 or 18,000 things that you can get out in an hour, right? For example. But I think where I'm really looking at it is, can we offer more? Like, could we get to a place in 6 months where your program, because we work with you guys, actually has 30% more things that we're able to get out the door now?
Right.
Without a cost uptick.
Right.
Maybe in some cases it's outside the program, so we have a different service offering that we decide that we create. But I'm talking about day-to-day things that we're already doing for customers. Like, that's where I want to get to, is like, wow, I can do 5 more of those things because now I'm enabled. And by the way, they're 5 good things, not 5 garbage things, because you're going to see a lot of that in this space too, where kind of garbage in, garbage out. So we talked about the strategy.
Well, I mean, it really just brings it back to full circle, where we were looking at our production processes and now looking at AI in there to remove excuse me, non-value added steps.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. Awesome,
guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for your insights. Appreciate it. Look forward to what the AI is going to bring to us and to our customers and to the world. Really, it's going to be very interesting. It's it's one of those things that seems a little scary, but you got to get on the train, man. It's coming, and could be really good.
Yeah.
No reason it can't be used to our advantage. So that's some of the stuff that we're talking about at DirectWorks in the tail end of 23 and moving into 24. Thanks for joining us on our innovation session, and have a great day. Look forward to next time.
Awesome.
Have a
Thanks,
great
Dan.
night.